Hey YouTubers, I got a little something different today. I got a arcade 1UP. It's a found a really bargain at a Walmart, kind of a closeout on them. It's the arcade 1UP Pac-Man version. Basically, there it is. I was going to do a simple video of it, but there's a bunch of them out there on YouTube already. But not a whole lot of detail on if you want to do a Raspberry Pi or to do a emulator so that I can load a whole bunch of games up to it. I mean, I think it's kind of on a closeout because it's Pac-Man and Pac-Man 2. So basically you got a big gaming cabinet that has 2 games on it. Well, I happen to have a Raspberry Pi laying around, and I hadn't been using it. So because I got a good deal on this and I already knew about that, I decided I'd go ahead and buy that and put it together and do a little Raspberry Pi conversion to turn it into an emulator, which then if you can download ROMs and you can I can have 5,000 games inside of here. I already done a little bit of my homework, and basically, like I said, I had already done my homework and reading out there. I knew there was some things I was going to have to do to be able to convert this into a gaming console like I want, that I can use the retro to do my my emulation for all the games. But anyway, so I found out on Amazon, which I'll put all these links on there. Basically, what I've got here, this is going to be a screen controller to convert the stock LCD 17-inch screen that comes in the 1UP arcade game to where I can use HDMI input to input it out of the Raspberry Pi. I also bought a button kit because especially with the Pac-Man, it only has 2 buttons and a joystick, and this is going to be a 1-player. I thought about making it 2-player, but it's not like a full size, and it just seems like it'd be kind of crowded to have a 2-player thing. So I'll just have a 1-player setup on it. So basically, I knew the joystick that comes with the arcade 1UP will not work, so I bought a joystick and a set of buttons and a USB controller, which that will control all the interface into the Raspberry Pi as far as the button mapping. I'll have to take the deck and modify it, obviously, and I'll actually do some video on that when I have to drill that out and add the buttons and everything. I mean, like I said, right now, basically it has 2 buttons and a joystick. So we're going to update it to where it has 6 buttons and a joystick, and we'll go from there. But anyway, I just kind of thought I'd start this out. I already pre-bought all this stuff from Amazon, which I will put links on there on this part of the conversion. Hopefully the light's not too bad in here. Hold on a second, let me get a screwdriver. The first thing you got to do this conversion is we're going to want to convert the 17-inch LCD over to where we can use a Raspberry Pi. Taking the back off, if you haven't built it, of course my back is new, but it's just 3 screws here at the top and his back comes out. And basically it's got 1 flat ribbon cable that runs to the button deck, and that has these 2 screws here that cover the electronics on the monitor, which are these 2 screws are the ones I'm going to be taking out. It's kind of dark here, hopefully. Yeah, let me get that off. It's going to be hard to do that one-handed. I'll get that cover off and then I'll come back. Okay, with those 2 screws removed, this just drops down from the back of the LCD monitor and the back of the 1UP cabinet. As you can see, it's got a cable there and a cable there. I'm assuming one of them's power and the other one's the video, and it's just got a little ground wire. Of course, down here is the flat ribbon cable for the button interface. Well, I know that's going to go because I'm using a different I'm going to be using a USB interface for the button deck, and I believe the only thing I'll be using is these 2 here and here cables into the new interface. Let me go ahead and unplug these and we'll get those plugged into the new interface. Okay, I now have the new video interface to make the LCD display on the 1UP be able to use a HDMI cable to feed it. It's really simple. You have this connection here, the flat ribbon cable, and this one here. Just make sure that your positives are put in the right direction here, and that your pin 1 is marked on pin 1 on here. And I went ahead and hooked that little ground back up to the back of the monitor where the cover was before. I was going to try to do some standoffs or something, but I ended up just using some 3M double-sided tape and just mount it to the back. A Raspberry Pi back here, and I'll probably do the same thing. I'll probably use double-sided tape on it and get it mounted back here. Once I get that done, I'll show you that. And then really, honestly, pretty much the back of the cabinet will be done, and the rest will be on the button deck. That's probably going to be the bigger project to modify that than this. So far, I mean, this is nothing but plug in, unplug. This was the stock button interface and game CPU in this little cover here that was sitting right like back there on that. But basically had that one ribbon cable that plugged there, and then I had the monitor plug and the power plug that plugged there, and I just transferred them over to this interface board that I got off of Amazon. But actually now I have a good thing is, I ever wanted to go back to Pac-Man, I could really easily plug this back in. I didn't have to cut any wires or anything and go back to it, but I don't think I'll ever do that. But who knows, maybe I can get a few dollars for that on eBay. Somebody needs a Pac-Man module that's bad or something. But anyway, get the Raspberry Pi in here and I'll be back. Okay, as you can see now, I now have my monitor interface, which has also got a pigtail that has buttons to control it as far as screen settings, etc. Which I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. Maybe route it on the front somewhere, either that or maybe just double-side tape it. I don't know how much I'll need that. And there you can see I have my Raspberry Pi connected there. Pretty much that's the back. I'm probably going to put a power strip down here in the bottom and to power it, because I'm actually going to have 3 things that are going to need power. I don't have it right now. I forgot to order it, but it's coming in a day or two. I'm going to need a little amplifier to drive the speaker system, and I found one that's pretty neat. I'll show you when I get it here, but it'll actually have little extra things that are kind of neat. But anyway, I'll go ahead and from now I'm pretty much done in the back, and like I said, the big modification is going to come in front on the button deck, and that'll be next. Well, I've been doing more work than I've been videotaping on this Pac-Man conversion I'm doing. As you can see, I've got the RetroPie running on it now. In fact, I got Marley Brothers pulled up right now, but just getting ready to bottle up the control deck after my mods. Kind of go over it. As you can see, this is the back side of it. There's my new USB controller. There's my new joystick. It had 2 switches that were factory on it. I decided one of the switches actually fits in the board, so it can be the same as a button on off. So I'm hoping maybe a pause or a reset for the on off switch that was built into the factory. And the other one was speaker volume. And I got to looking at it, and since it's a 3-position switch, what I did is I wired it into the speaker to where it's either open or closed. So it'll either be speaker on or off. It won't be volume, it'll be volume on or off, instead of the way it was before. It was actually, I think it had off and then 2 volume levels, whereas now it'll just be volume on and off. But hey, at least I'm reusing the switch, because I didn't want to leave a hole in the panel there. And as you can see, what I did is I just took one side of the speaker and ran it into one of the poles of the switch and out the other one. So now when that contact's made, that wire will make a contact. And then I just took the 2 wires and extended them, and that'll go to my little audio amp that I'll have in the back to amplify the sound to the speaker. I'm probably going to do duals. I don't know if I want to put another one here, and I got the factory one here. I probably will, just to keep it, even. But if not, I could always mount them up top or something else. And there's my buttons and how I decided to configure them. I did a 6-button layout on the deck, plus I added 2 more buttons down here in the lower. Let me go ahead and flip it over and you can see what it looks like when it's flipped over. Okay, here's how the deck turned out on the top side. As you can see, I did it in a pad because I got to thinking I could, some games like to emulate a pad, so that's why I did it that way instead of 4 across. And then of course I'll have a start and a reset or a select, probably start and select, and then A, B, what is it, usually X and Y, something like that. As far as those, I'll figure out what I'm going to do on my mapping on that. Of course, I have my joystick here, and like I said, my on-off switch here, and this will be volume off, you know. And then, of course, I got the two bottom ones. That'd probably be like coin in, if it's a coin in game. And I don't know, I can map the other button for something, but I figured I'd like to have more buttons and not enough. But anyway, that's where I'm at on the mapping of the deck. I cut the plexiglass. It's not perfect, but it'll work. I ended up having to do a cut like that. I started out trying to drill them out, but when I went to drill them out, this plastic is so thin and so cheap that it cracked on me. So I realized I wasn't going to be able to. I was going to use a hole saw, and it just wouldn't work. It cracked on me. They were too close together. The buttons were. A little bit of sixth option was I took a Dremel tool and I just cut around the button panel. I don't think it looks too bad. At least it kind of gives it a protective cover, and then I sanded it nice and smooth so it has a smooth edge around there. But anyway, that's pretty much where we're at on the deck. I'm going to go ahead and get it all bolted down and finalize it. I'm going to get in the back and start mounting the amp up and do the final wiring in the back, and I'll get back to you when I'm there. Okay, here is a back view of my arcade 1UP. I figure if you're going to do it right. I spent quite a bit of time making this nice and neat. Kind of go through here. Obviously right here, that is the controller that I bought off of Amazon that converts it over to where it has an HDMI input for the monitor. It also includes a control screen for the menus for the monitor, you know, as far as modes, etc. I went ahead and mounted it up there. I actually used the two screws that were had the little metal box there, and that's how I mounted them. That's also got double-sided tape on it, but I didn't want to just trust this double-sided tape, so I used that to try and put a screw in each one of them so they're securely mounted. There's my Raspberry Pi. That's the brains or the CPU to my RetroPie system. And as you can see, I've cable tied everything. I kind of showed you on the back or on the front panel how I wired the speaker. Well, the speaker wire comes up and goes through, and here's my little audio amplifier that I'm going to use for sound, which obviously it feeds into the Raspberry Pi and goes up into the inputs of the audio amplifier. And the cool thing about that little amplifier is it's actually got, I'll show it on the front too, but I've got it mounted up here solid. But I'll show on the front, it's actually got FM radio, and it'll play music off a USB drive, and it will also charge a cell phone. So not only have we got a little gamepad here, but you can charge your cell phone while you're playing, or play some music. I think I'm going to do some little speakers in here and make it like a little jukebox. Maybe even put an SD card in with some kind of cool stuff for arcade or game room type of music. But anyway, this is how it all set up. I actually took and did found a little power strip 3 thing power strip, and drilled through here and mounted it. I don't know if you can see there how I did that. And then obviously the power supply that came with the actual 1UP arcade, which drives the monitor. I reused it because you could use it, and of course it plugs into here, and then your HDMI feeds over to your Raspberry Pi. Sound coming out here. This is power for the Raspberry Pi, and the third power strip or power connection is to power my little amp. Right now I've just got it hooked up, you know, it's just got a cord coming out here, but I've already ordered on Amazon. I'm going to do the okay, and here is the last part of my build. Like I was talking about, I went ahead and cut the plug end off of that little power strip I had. I've got the wire strip back, and I purchased some of these off of Amazon. And basically I'll cut a hole in the back of the cabinet, and I will solder this on here, and then mount this to the back of the cabinet, so then you'll be able to plug and unplug the unit and make it portable. And if you need to move it or something, you don't have to drag a cord behind it. Thought that'd be pretty neat. Anyway, let me go ahead and get that soldered up, and we'll show the finished product. Okay, here's my power plug all converted over. As you can see, I just cut the plug off and soldered on one of these male connectors so that I can just hook a standard, you know, everybody's got a bunch of them laying around, one of them computer or monitor plugs, you know, the 3-prong, you know what goes in there. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and mount it to the door, and then get the back on it, and we'll get one last picture of that, and then we'll look at the front real quick, and we'll be done with this project. Alright, and there's what she looks like with my power plug all mounted in the back. By the way, YouTubers, why didn't you tell me before I did that? I soldered the wires on the plug before I ran the plug through the wood. If you do this, make sure you run the wires through the wood before you solder them onto the back of the socket. I got around it no problem. I just cut it diagonal and got it in there, and it's still screwed down. And then I built the little plywood reinforcement, which is actually, in the long run, probably a better thing. It definitely stiffened it up a little bit more. This is kind of thin anyway, so it turned out fine. Just a little extra work. But now, as you can see, all I have to do is take a normal monitor plug, you know, these ones that you have laying around everywhere, and I just plug it in, and we got power now. Let me go ahead and put these last 3 screws in the back up top here, and we're gonna close this project up. Okay, now let's just cinch down these last 3 screws back here on the back. And we're done. Now we'll go around the front and take a look at our works. Well, here's the final product. We can take a look at it. Got 2 buttons down here. Got my amplifier, MP3 player, FM radio on top there. Got my RetroPie all installed on here, and let you kind of navigate through here. The joystick and kind of go through each one. I got Atari here. I got 100 games on Atari. Got 78 games loaded for Atari 7800. 78 games in Linux. Got 154 games on Game Boy. Got 71 games on Nintendo 64. And I got 266 games on NES. And if you want to check any of those games out or start playing them, all you got to do is hit the start button, and there we go. This is a list of them, and you know, you can do the download of the artwork too. 1942, 1943, 3D Well Runner, Adam's Family, Air Fortress, Airwolf, I for Chicken, Alien, and basically you can just go in there and pick a game you want and hit start. Whoops, you can read down here too. It shows you what you need to do. It says to launch, I need to hit button A. So I hit button A. Launch up here. Got eaten by the alien. Anyway, as you can see, needless to say, game plays smooth. Got sound, which I've got to turn down a little bit here. You can. The lamp did a good job of. And if you want to back out, you just hit the back out key. And then we can go down and pick another game. Barbie Golf, wow. Baseball Stars, Beetlejuice, Bigfoot, Blaster Master, Caesar's Palace. And then you can back up and go back into all the other games. There's lots more games you can load too, but these are the games I've just got so far as ROMs. But anyway, there is the RetroPie, the Pac-Man RetroPie conversion. I do have a pedestal I'm going to go ahead and build and put on it too. I think the pedestal makes it feel more like a real arcade. It's kind of short without the pedestal, but anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's a little bit long, but I had a lot to cover. This is Electron Man. This video was produced by me, the Electron Man. And hey, if you get a chance, subscribe. It helps me out. And have a good day.